Good evening, everyone. On the behalf of Srinarayana Trust Arts and Science College, Pama, and the Department of Computer Science, it's my pleasure to welcome you all to today's seminar on the topic Tech Skills for Any Career, How to Boost Your Employability. My name is Nandu Jagadan from third year BCom, and I'll be your Master of Ceremony for this event. Let's begin our section with a silent prayer. Now, let me invite Abhimanyu PS, third year BSc Mathematics Model 2 Computer Science student, to deliver the welcome address.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Srinarayana Trust Arts and Science College, Pamanar, and the Department of Computer Science, it's my pleasure to welcome you all to today's seminar on the topic Tech Skills for Any Career, Future Employability. We are excited to see such a great turnout, and I assure you that this section will be packed with knowledge necessary for everyone present here. First and foremost, I would like to extend my warm welcome to our principal, Mr. Shibu V, who pioneered this entire event. Second, I would extend my warmest welcome to our esteemed speaker, our resource person for the day, Mr. Athul Mithran sir. His expertise and insight are invaluable, and we are honored to have him here with us today. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would welcome Ms. Sunita Manoharan, Ms. Veena Vinod, Dr. Shruti SG, Ms. Anupriya CS, Mr. Ashwin Madhu, Ms. Nimisha Thomas, Ms. Gopika S, for supporting us in making this event happen. I welcome our participants whom we are delighted to have today. We hope that today's seminar will provide you with innovative ideas and inspire you to find practical solutions to apply in your personal and professional lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhimanyu. Let's hear a brief introduction about our resource person, Mr. Athul Mithran. I invite our esteemed principal, Mr. Shibu V, for the same.
Good evening, everyone. Athul Mithran is a distinguished academician and researcher specializing in artificial intelligence and healthcare technology solutions. He holds Master of Computer Applications from Cochin University of Science and Technology and is a UGC NET qualified professional in computer science and applications. Beginning his career in 2017 as a software engineer, he transitioned to academia, research and development, leveraging his expertise in AI-driven healthcare innovations. He has previously served as an assistant professor at CUSAT and as a research fellow at IIT Palakkad. Currently, he is engaged in cutting-edge research at the Arctic University of Norway, collaborating with Nordic Brain Tech to develop AI-driven clinical trial technologies focused on disease risk management, migraine, and headache prevention. With a strong foundation in computational intelligence and healthcare research, Athul Mithran continues to contribute to the advancement of AI in medical science, making a significant impact in the field of AI-powered health solutions.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite today's esteemed resource person, Mr. Athul Mithran, to handle over the section. Over to you, sir.
Hi, everyone. I hope I'm pretty audible to all of you right now.
Yes, audible.
Yeah, that's really good. So to start things off, I'd just let you guys know a brief summary of who I am and what I've been doing in my tech and academic career as until now. So I'm actually one of the students of your professor Shibu sir. So he was one of my lead professors in Cochin University while I was studying my master's program, MCA. And it's really nice to see him and you guys who have arranged such a well thought out event that I could participate in and be hopefully helpful to all of you in your search for a better career and and lead in a really satisfactory life. So I start off with my educational background, I have a master's degree in computer applications, and I also have a bachelor's in the same subject and field. I have a brief experience in the IT sector back home in India, where I was part of consultancy programs and internships that was based on mainly web and mobile-based development courses, which is shortly after I finished and throughout my educational durations. So I had a sudden inclination towards academia and research, which is why I applied for the UGC NET examination, which is primarily as a qualification requirement that you could get in India to work as an assistant professor or continue research in some institutions of your liking. So I was lucky enough to be qualified for that role, and I did my junior research fellow period at IIT Palakkad. And this is a time where I decided that I want to lean in to this field and contribute as much as I can to help the community at large and also help students or the future generation that's coming up. So I worked in this worked at the time of the COVID pandemic, where no one was allowed to go out. So I was part of the Kerala government's rapid action team, where I was developing some surveillance technologies that could be used to help sustain or contain people who are in quarantine. And that project was pretty successful. I then later worked at the Cochin University of Science and Technology. I was working as a part-time assistant professor in DDUK, which is the new vocational training department at CUSAT. And after that, I decided to move on, and then I traveled all the way to Norway, which is where I'm currently at now. I started working as a senior computer scientist at the Arctic University of Norway, and I've been working in research that involves some IT work, or mostly IT work in the field of research. And the research per se, it's based on, the domain is health informatics, where we're developing systems to detect diseases and come up with prevention technologies. The last of which, what I worked with was migraine and headache prevention treatments, which is still going on, and I'm pretty happy with what we've been able to achieve so far, and I hope we go on for much longer. Yeah, so that's a bit of a brief introduction about myself. Maybe we can dive into the topic I am supposed to explain to you all today, which is the tech skills that you could acquire to get into a career that of your liking. And this presentation, I hope, is applicable to almost anyone, regardless of where you guys study in right now, in terms of what fields you're in or what subjects you're going through. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So I'm gonna share my whole screen now. I have to briefly turn off my camera for this to happen. So yeah, I'll see you guys here. Okay. I hope you guys see the presentation.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So tech skills for any career. So this is aimed to bring some light into some things that you could take care of to advance your knowledge in the field that you're studying in, but also could be helpful to know what the boundaries are and what fields you could get into or get your hands on with some of the things that you that might help you in boosting the career path you want to choose in the future. So I want to start off with why these technical skills matter. So I want to start off by saying tech is no longer an option. So the year 2025, or that's been the case for the past decade, it's sort of a must-have. So everyone needs to know the tech generation that we are in and what that entails. So I'd like to bring up some stats on that, and one of them is that 90% of the jobs that we currently have require digital skills, and this is not just in a particular field or area, but this is more or less the fact that tech has risen to popularity among any of the fields or career paths you might choose. And more than that, 50% of all employees will need to be reskilled by the year 2025. And this pertains to the fact that the newest tech that's coming up in the market year by year, it's really advancing to the level that people working even in the tech industry themselves have to reskill or learn new tech as they go on. Another thing I would like to bring to light to all of you is that according to the World Economic Forum, 85 million jobs might be displaced by the year 2025 due to automation, but 97 million new roles may emerge that are more adapted to the new division of labor between all the humans and machines that are at work. So this is just an example of how new technologies come in and how they displace a lot of currently going on jobs, but it also allows for new types of jobs and requirements to come in. And that is what we should be having in mind. So in today's rapidly evolving job market, tech skills are no longer a luxury. They are a necessity. So yeah, so whether you're looking into a career in marketing, finance, healthcare, or even arts, understanding and utilizing technology can significantly enhance your career prospects. And yeah, so this is why what I would say would fulfill the why statement of the whole presentation. So when I started studying for, let's say when I was in high school, YouTube, which is all the way right now, wasn't as big. So in the early 2000s, the technology was there, but people who used YouTube wasn't, the community was super small or non-existent. But nobody batted an eye by then. But if someone did tell or have the conversation with their children saying, we want to let you guys into high school or in a college studying a particular field, but we need to make sure that you get into a field that pays well, or you get some job or occupation relatively easily, and you get a high salary package. That's what we're looking for. So if you ask any parent in that generation what they would ideally say, would be become a doctor or become an engineer, because that was what everyone knew to be highly profitable and highly lucrative as a career path. But if there's no if there, but it turns out all of the or most of the people who innovated first and started this digital media career path were the quickest to become really successful in a short amount of time. So that is something nobody predicted. This is why keeping your doors open and being open to new ideas when it comes to careers or learning new tech becomes really, really important. So I'd like to bring up some key tech skills for students. And one of them is digital literacy and productive tools. So this essentially means you need to use technology to efficiently improve learning and work. So you all are students right now, and you study different fields, and this could be aided by the use of some technology that you might already be knowledgeable, or some you might need to look at furthermore to enhance your own personal academic results. So, for example, I'm pretty sure most of you, or I hope most of you, already use Google Docs, Microsoft Word for assignments and reports. And for example, the presentation I'm doing now, I did it in Google Slides. So, yeah, for all general use and purposes, this is really important that you use. And this comes into play for any of the career path you choose. For example, my path is in academic research or IT programming or development. And this also requires extensive use of Google Docs and presentations for effective use of communication and team collaborations. So this is something that you can easily master, but you could get furthermore benefits than the much more than the work you put in to get into the learning curves. So another useful tools here, or another set of useful tools, would be Slack, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and all of this are used for communication. So right now I'm sitting all the way at the edge of the earth from comparatively where you're sitting at right now. But I'm still able to communicate with you freely and give you ideas. And that is a really powerful tool. You can remotely collaborate with anyone in the world right now, and that is using these sort of tools. So I want to show you a video of something first, or let me go directly into data and analytics skills. So this is one of the key tech skills that I want you to look at, regardless of what stream that you are doing your educational studies in. So data and analytics skills is basically how you understand and interpret data and to collect it for better decision making. So overall, data literacy, it's sort of like the ability to read and work with data, and data is usually some numbers and some indicators that you work with. So this sort of let's say literary education gives you analytical skills that makes you better informed and better equipped to make decisions that move like whole businesses or just your workflows in entirely new venues, and that is really important. I want you all to be really familiar with Excel and also explore stuff like Google Sheets, which is sort of the alternative, which is free. Excel isn't free, but Google Sheets is, and those give you almost the same functionalities. And for more advanced analysis, I would like you to look into maybe SQL, which is professional databases that big companies use, or maybe some small or very effective data visualization tools like Tableau and Power BI. And even maybe some basic coding skills in Python would help. So I'd like to go back to the video I was about to show you. So this is an Excel sheet that I'm working with. So my main purpose here is to just show you how powerful Excel sheets and the formulas we put in works. So for example, right now, I have a list of people that I work with in the movie industry, let's say, and we want to see who would get bonuses. So let's say I only select people who have a salary less than 130. Yeah, let's say $130,000. And the next criteria I'm going to put in is that they all should be popular. So only the popular people get their bonuses. And they must have a salary that's lesser than 130. So with a simple formula, or it might be a bit too much if you're just seeing Excel sheets and Excel formulas, but let's maybe just look at how incredibly powerful these systems can be. So I'm just using a small data set. So it's just 10 people here. And I'm just going to demonstrate by using this formula and calculating who among these people would get bonuses. And I'm selecting if they're popular and their salary should be less than 100,000 K. And I'm gonna set the bonus amount to 10% of their salary. And let's see what we get. So with a simple formula, we get bonus listings for all the members here. And I just want you to think of the possibilities with such manipulations in the data systems. So even if you add 1 million entries to this list, you could still use the same formula and it would calculate the bonuses for all entries here. And you could add further filtrations and also sort your whole entries. And this opens up doors for much better optimizations and really tons of useful information that you could use in your businesses. So a practical example for this sort of data analysis would be, imagine if you're a marketing manager that uses data to track campaign performances. So let's say you're releasing an app on Google Play Store or App Store, and you are the marketing manager for the whole company. You would like to probably set up an ad campaign that shows ads in various systems for example, let's say Snapchat or Instagram or maybe Facebook. So users would get ads on the site and they are allowed to click into the ad to get to the page where they could download their respective apps. So in this scenario, the marketing manager could use this data of tracking down which demographics, like how many of the women audience or how many of the men audience were more attracted to the app that we are releasing, how many or which demographics related to the age were more interested, and maybe for another example, let's say an HR professional can perform analysis of the employee data to identify trends in, let's say, retention. So let's say an HR manager needs to know who is working more and who is working less. They could uh, maybe do some analysis on that. They could also perform analysis on tools that employees work with. For example, let's say some of you use only Word, some of you only use Excel, or some of you just use Excel and no Google Sheets. So this could help the whole organization to make decisions on what products should they acquire for the whole organization and save some valuable financial resources. So these are all. Yeah, I think someone's not muted. Okay, so I'll just continue. So I'll maybe give you another example. So the data analysis is really important in sales. So a sales representative can use data to personalize their outreach and target potential clients for more effectivity. And this could, in turn, give really productive results in terms of sales and also analysis on which demographics to go for, which areas or regions to target, and which, let's say, which products to push up more, and maybe some of them take it down a notch. And this could all be understood based on data, and that's why data is so much important. And for also the examples I stated here, you could also use some CRM tools like HubSpot and Salesforce, which is really popular throughout the world. And one other tech skill that I want everyone to be aware of is cybersecurity. And this might be more or less a personal requirement, I would say, and not thoroughly for your career benefits. And that is because protecting your personal and academic data from cyber threats is really an important factor. Because cybersecurity is everyone's responsibility, and the more responsible you are, the more safe the whole community is. So you don't need to know all the ins and outs and all the technical know-hows. You just need a basic understanding of security principles, and that could help you and essentially your organization from cyber security threats. So I just want to go through some of the basic examples or basic keynotes to take out of this, so you could better help yourself. So one of them is really important. So you've all made passwords in almost any website or service digitally that you use. You might be creating passwords, and these are keys to your personal space. So imagine them as the keys to your house or your doors or apartments, and these are not to be taken lightly. So always create strong passwords, and you should always make sure that you use two-factor authentication. And this is really important for your main personal digital accounts. For, let's say, if you have a Google account or your social media account, always use two-factor authentication. And this helps it be more thoroughly protected. And sometimes it's really apparent that a password isn't enough. So if you have an option somewhere in your settings that helps you enable two-factor authentication, please do. And try to learn a bit more about how those things work. Even if you don't know the technical know-hows, if you know what the basic underlying systems are, this probably helps you maintain personal integrity and personal safety in the digital space, but also be a really valuable asset to an organization that you probably want to join or work with. And another important factor is you should always keep in mind of phishing emails that you might receive. And these phishing emails are emails that apparently look like they're from an authentic source. For, let's say, for example, you get an email saying, here's a refund of 2 lakh from PhonePay or Google Pay because of some technical error. So I just want you all to think about that for a second. Like, no one is that lucky. So neither are you, neither am I. So I first, due diligence, that's what I always point to when you get phishing emails. And this would be helpful if you're working at a place too. When you get emails with links, always take precautions when clicking on them. And just I try my best to avoid any suspicious links, and always keep your software updated so all your services and apps you use are being constantly maintained and updated to the newest security standards. And it's really apparent that you must update your software. Let's say you use an Android phone or an iOS phone, you frequently get updates for your whole operating system. And this is really important because Google and Apple release some security breaches or security updates that they put in their system. Every month, Google has a security update for their Play services and also their core system. And it's a must that all of you must keep your devices updated. And you should always be mindful of data privacy. So when you go to a link, if they ask to keep cookies or if they ask to keep your data, be very assured that the data you put in, they are susceptible to be used somewhere else, or they could use your data to print out or get some financial benefits on your behalf. This in this era, data is really gold, as some phrases come out to be. So it's really important that you take care of your data privacy. Yeah, and this is really important because data breaches can be devastating. So if some organization, let's say you're let's say you are in a financial institute and that institute handles information of a lot of customers regarding what their spending trends are, what the businesses they are into, and what the income sources are. Leaking out this information to a third party would be catastrophic to the whole business, and even small oversights can have really big consequences. And being cybersecurity aware is a really valuable skill, and most organizations that you might get into would consider that as a big plus. So yeah, this this is why I would really ask you to consider the cybersecurity aspects while you surf the internet or use any of your favorite social media apps. And one other tech skill that I want to bring up is some basic coding and automation. So when I say programming, I don't want you to think about full-scale websites or maybe mobile apps. I want you to start thinking from the ground up, and maybe some basic stuff like Python or automation skills or data analysis skills. So the video I just showed you, which is a representation of a a Microsoft Excel formula, and that is a code in itself, and that's simply one line, and it doesn't really take that much. It might be a bit too much when you see it for the first time, but as you learn that more, it might come off as something that has one of the least learning curves compared to other programming languages that you might come across. So I'd really want you to look into that. Who knows, some of you might really enjoy coding, and you could do that on the side, and that is a really valuable income generating and really something of a big prospect in today's job market. So I'd like you to really look into that. And there's new areas that you maybe want to explore. So some there are some services that are currently available that you could use to build full-on websites and maybe mobile apps that requires not too much of a programming skill, and that those sort of services are called no code services, and maybe some some of the ads you might see for building your own website. I forget the name. I'm just gonna check that up. Yeah, for example, Wix, Squarespace, which is something you might have come across when you search through YouTube videos. Those are really popular. You could essentially drag and drop and make your own websites and apps, and this serves as a front end for all your business or entrepreneurship desires. And those are some things I would consider as a soft skill and something you could use to boost your business. And something that you might have heard of already is all the AI chatbots that's available right now. For example, the most popular one being ChatGPT, and the newest one, Deep Insights. So all of this technologies are really new and has almost revolutionized how we search for answers in the internet. We would usually Google things, but there's a trend that's changing that's making you ChatGPT it for the first time before Googling it. So these are really revolutionary changes, even in the tech space. And this might come across as really valuable for all of you. You could get answer to all your queries. You could bring up ideas or bring up use it as an assistant to formulate emails or create job descriptions, create CVs to send out, and these are all valuable. And I'm hoping all of you have been familiarized with all the AI language models that is currently popular. So yeah, the next topic I want you guys looking at is SEOs, which is short for search and engine optimizations. So for an online or digital business, one of their main concerns is how high they rank in Google searches, because that's their entry point to get customers. And how high you rank among those lists is really important for organizations. And there's a really big market that focuses on bringing up search rankings for your business, and that's where the SEO space comes in. So the most used tools I would say here is Google Analytics and some of the social media tools. This helps businesses recognize who is clicking on their links, how high their rankings are in Google searches, and for other data visualization tools, there's AutoCAD and MATLAB where you could visualize the data points you already use. And for health and medicine, you could use EMRs, electronic medical records, and data tracking systems. And for people who are in the arts and humanities field of study, you could also look at digital design software, Canva and Adobe Suite, and also some blogging platforms, because blogging has always been really big in the digital space, because you could essentially connect with the whole community or the whole world by expressing your emotions or expressing what you want to say out to the world. So yeah, I'd really, as a side note, I'd really encourage anyone who's fond of writing to take up blogs. I myself had a brief career in writing. I wrote for one of the biggest tech websites in India, which is called Forcebytes, where I got the opportunity to interview some of the biggest personalities in tech. For example, CEO of Red Hat, Paul. I had a nice conversation with them, and that was me sitting in a small room at my house, being able to communicate with one of the biggest tech personalities at the time. And this was possible due to the fact that we could blog online, and those would end up with a whole lot of audience and reader base, and that compels big personalities to have a conversation with us as a forefront or as a glass door to the whole community that they want to be heard. So it's a really fun opportunity for people who want to write. So I'd really recommend taking up some blogging or writing endeavors. Yeah. So see. Yeah. So I think that is about it regarding the slides. I have a few things more to say, and that involves how you could learn all these skills as a student. So there's tons of resources available online, and that is one of the really big advantages of the times that we're living in, because you could get any sort of information, valuable educational stuff from the internet if you just search online. In Google's on YouTube or some of the other online learning platforms, you could easily get information on anything you essentially need. And this involves Coursera, Udemy, and maybe even LinkedIn Learning for people who want to learn themselves. So the things you learn in college, you could enhance your topics or have your own self-tuition by learning these things in an online digital platforms too. You could have some side tracking while you're studying for something. You could maybe look into some of the avenues that you want to look into, but you still don't have time or you can't enroll in another bachelor's degree, for example. So you could get certified if you want to get certified, or you could be it could be just a self-paced learning tutorial for yourself. But yeah, like I said, YouTube tutorials are super beginner friendly sometimes, and they are free, which is the most important part. So it's accessible to anyone who essentially has internet and a device to access it from. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot I stopped sharing for a minute. I hope I'm sharing now. Are you able to see the slides? Yeah, but anyway, I'll continue with the learning platforms you could use. So you could do some hands-on practice. You could use some digital tools to help you with university projects, internships, and student organizations. You could do some freelance gigs on the sites and do some personal projects. For example, if you're in finance or some sales, uh, someone who has sales interests, you could do some data visualization by grabbing some of the free data reports that companies let out and visualize some of the data there and come up with some cool ideas that you could maybe share with the organizations themselves or make reports on for yourself. You could have certifications that adds value. For example, you could use Google IT support. You could use Microsoft own Office specialist certificates or data analytics certificates, or maybe AWS, for example. And yeah, so this makes it really easy for everyone. Yeah, so maybe as the next sort of avenue I want to reach out to you guys about on is just letting you know of the fact that future proofing your career is really important. So technology evolves really fast and continuous learning is key. So I really recommend all of you to stay updated with the new tools in your field. And yeah, you could always join LinkedIn groups and attend some webinars like this, and some of them could be really beneficial to you, and participate in online discussions throughout the internet. You might have come across something called Reddit. Reddit is it's called as an editorial for the whole internet, where people come in and discuss ideas. There's a lot of toxic stuff in there, so I don't want you sniffing in on any of the, let's say, bad stuff out there, but there's some really interesting stuff going on regarding to topics that might interest you. And yeah, so you could also follow leading industry personnels, and that you could do by logging into LinkedIn and follow what the tech community is on right now, or not just tech. You could look up any avenue you want to look up on. Yeah, I think that's about it. Stop sharing now. And let's see. Yeah, okay, I'm back now. Yeah. So all in all, I just want to let you guys know that tech skills are really essential for students' success in almost any fields. And learning digital tools, coding, cybersecurity, data analytics, data analytics in particular, I would say, is the most important of the bunch, and that really increases your employability. So I know which field you guys are in, so I'm pretty sure that it's most you could do and just go on from there. Try to maybe get your feet in the water, get hands on, and try your best to master it, or at least get familiar with it. And I'd really like you guys to make a list of the things you want to learn, something you might have picked up from this conversation we had today, and and just present it with your colleagues, with your peers, and discuss it, and maybe come up with cool ideas, and maybe come up with a business of your own, and get success your own way. But I'd like to thank all of you for listening to me all the while, and I really appreciate getting the opportunity to have this talk to have the opportunity to talk to all of you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope this becomes something of utility that might help you in your future endeavors. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. That was a wonderful, informative session. I hope everyone of us had something to take away from it. Now it's time for Q&A.
Hello. Am I audible, sir?
Hi. Yeah, I can hear you.
Sir, could you share some effective strategies or resources for continuous learning to help professionals stay ahead in a rapidly evolving tech environment?
Yeah, so what I would say is always be in discussions. So let's say if you are really interested, I'm taking an example for my sort of field. So let's say let's say someone is really interested in making mobile applications. They haven't started yet. They have no idea how that works. But the way you start and the way you form a strategy there is to keep being in discussions. So there's many discussion groups, and a lot of let's say community banter going on that particular topic that you would see in maybe LinkedIn, or let's say, for example, Reddit. If you just join a group there that says mobile apps, for example, I don't know if that exists, but I'm just guessing here. But if you go in there, you probably would get ideas, and that sort of sparks your whole strategy or the path you want to take, because that sets because it might not be a copy paste idea, but an idea that sparks something else in your head, and that sort of leads you and motivates you to sort of start on something. And once you start, then you know what to look for. Once you know what to look for, then the resources are plenty out there for you to get on. You could use the learning tools I told you, like Udemy, Coursera, or just basic YouTube, and get into those. Study what you wanna know about, and again, keep yourself in that conversation loops and discussion loops, and that's how you evolve, and that's how you make up and iterate on the strategies you go forward with. I hope that makes sense.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Sir, how do you see emerging technology like AI and blockchain reshaping the landscape of employability over the next few years?
So So AI, it's all over the place. It's very very much talked about, but I want you to understand how basic that is. It's not in the let's say Terminator world-ending scenario as of yet. It's still in its baby steps, but the advancements you see mostly is maybe in large language models, LLMs, for example, ChatGPT, where it appears to have its own mind when it answers your queries. But it's essentially what it's just doing is it's assuming what the next word is going to be, and that it sort of builds sentences and paragraphs accordingly, and it has a whole big database to look upon. So that's how it come up with answers. So, but that is still really useful. Like some of the stats I've talked to you about, it's really really viable and really important in the generation that we're living in, and it's always going to go up at the level of advancements it's going to have. So how I see it developing is people would get more incentives to work on AI, and that further advances the technology. And then we venture into new zones, and that is pretty uncertain for me right now. But it's really helpful to make tasks quicker. So just as how the technologies we use now makes our tasks quicker, we used to calculate things differently from how you would use Excel formulas before. So it makes a whole lot of things easy for healthcare. The project I worked with before, it predicted how what sort of disease that you might have when you get older. So it would predict you would have 30% chance that you would get diabetes by the time you're 50. And it accounted for many other diseases, let's say skin cancer or cardiovascular diseases. So that's powered by some Bayesian belief networks, as we call it. It's a sort of machine learning AI algorithm that we have. So these are possible because of AI, and that's not ChatGPT. It's what I want to tell you. It's much bigger than that, and it started way before the research on it. So I see the landscapes changing, but how, I don't know. But is it helpful? I would say definitely yes.
Thank you, sir.
Is there any more questions?
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Yes, sir. Sir, what specific tech skills do you believe are the most critical for professionals aiming to transition into tech-driven roles, even if they come from not tech backgrounds?
Yeah, so I'd like to highlight again data analytics. So let's say most of you want to work outside, like want to work in a different country, let's say Europe, and it's a pretty advanced system with many of the research and academic sectors using whole lot of data visualizations and data analysis to conduct studies, clinical trials, and research in general. So one such avenue doesn't require that you know a lot of tech, but knowing most other tools like Power BI or let's say Python or MATLAB and some other data visualization tools that you could use, which isn't really hard to learn, mind you. So this is something that's really lucrative in my eyes, at least for people who are in the non-tech fields could look into. And it's not big of a learning curve that would hinder any of you. So yeah, I would say it's probably data analytics. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Is there someone need to ask some questions? Thank you, sir. I would like to invite Kiran, first year BA English student, for vote of thanks.
Good evening. As we conclude today's enlightening session of the TechSphere International Seminar Series, it is my honor to extend a heartfelt word of thanks. First and foremost, I express our deepest gratitude to Mr. Athul Mithran, Senior Assistant at the Arctic University of Norway and Nordic Brain Tech. Your insightful seminar on tech skill for any career, how to boost your employability, has provided us with invaluable perspectives and practical guidance. Your expertise and dedication to advancing technology in healthcare are truly inspiring. I would also like to thank our organizing committee for their meticulous planning and seamless execution of this event. Your hard work and commitment have been instrumental in making this seminar a success. A special thanks to our technical support team for ensuring a smooth and uninterrupted session. Your behind the scenes efforts are greatly appreciated. To all the participants, your active engagement and thoughtful questions have enriched today's discussion. Your enthusiasm reflects the collective commitment to learning and professional growth. In conclusion, thank you all once again for your valuable contributions. We look forward to your continuous participation in future sessions of the TechSphere International Seminar Series. Thank you all.
Thank you, Kiran. Thus, we conclude our event for the day. Thank you, everyone, once again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Atul. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Recording